My biggest challenge this week is not going too much into the history, but our review of Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror is next. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd, and on this episode of Doctor Who, it was a very satisfying episode because they got the history right. This is something that has concerned me in the past whenever we have had any kind of science fiction program that deals with history. Now, in Doctor Who, you always have to bring in the aliens, and so we have to introduce something that, while it doesn't interfere with history in this case, it does bring famous people of the time into contact with it. And so it is with Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. They explain how Tesla has a number of inventions that he has only in his head. He doesn't have drawings on it, about his laboratory, where he had the big tower where he was going to have electricity that could be distributed wirelessly across the planet. Not a technology that was known at the time, something that can be done now but still isn't, although it's not far from what now is Wi-Fi, what now is wireless communication, what now is radio. All of these kind of things Tesla had something to do with, and it's mentioned in this episode. I had almost a scare at the beginning when the doctor meets Tesla and says, "You're a big fat liar." Although she clarifies herself a little bit later by saying that Tesla lied to her when he answered no when she asked him, had he seen anything weird. So what we have here is this orb of Phaser, which has come into Tesla's possession. And here is where we go into the fictional part of the story, and to find out why this orb is here and what the aliens, which are called the Cythura, scorpion-looking creatures, are actually doing here and what they want with Tesla. We'll not get into the details of what they wanted him for, but let's just say that they're the monsters of the week. That's okay as far as this goes, because what the show actually is about this time is to kind of highlight an inventor, a genius inventor, who is virtually unknown to history until they started naming the cars after him. Elon Musk was a student of history of Tesla and named his car Tesla because of the inventor who invented AC electricity, the first very efficient electric motor, and many other inventions which have come along that either he didn't get credit for or were patented by other people that came about these same inventions at the same time. It does not discount Tesla's genius on this. But as with any genius, also there is a certain amount of eccentricity. And in the case of Tesla, his pride got in the way of his becoming truly famous, oddly. And it is something that is even touched upon in the show when Edison offers him a job back at the Edison plant. We're not certain if history would have arranged for this. Tesla and Edison were rivals in a way. It is true that Tesla came into this country and was given a job in Edison's plant, where Edison offered him $50,000 to come up with a more efficient electric motor. He did it, and Edison offered him an extra $10 a week, and indicated, and they used it in the show, that he obviously didn't understand the American concept of humor. That was enough to make Tesla get up and leave, and what they don't show about this is that he doesn't immediately go to work for himself, but does go to work for George Westinghouse, who was able to give him the financial backing in order for him to perfect the electric motor and AC power, which Westinghouse compared favorably against Edison's DC power, to the point where Edison, in order to show how dangerous it was, invented the electric chair. But we get too bogged down in the actual history, and much of that is given some lip service in this episode, which I'm very impressed with. I notice a few interesting lines in here. First of all, high-speed invention is one of my specialisms, says the doctor. Kind of an interesting, funny way of saying that. She does a flaming circle in order to hold one of the aliens in, almost like they do in Supernatural. I thought that was kind of interesting. When Edison is questioning some of their tactics, Graham says to him, this is not our first rodeo. And Ryan says, you've never been to a rodeo. And Graham says, not helping Ryan. Now, the actor who played Tesla, who was Croatian, is also Croatian. His name is Gordon Vrenchuk. If I'm pronouncing this terribly, he's been a very good actor. He was on the American series ER. He's done a number of things in the United States and Britain. Is a fine actor and acted well. You could believe that he was Tesla. And actually, the actor they got to play Edison did the job very well as well. They gloss over the fact that Edison was hard of hearing and would not have been able to participate in all of the conversation in the way he did, but that's a minor point, and a little artistic license is allowed here in order for them to interact with Edison and Tesla. The rivalry was real. The inventions were real. The way Edison did business is real, and the way Edison defended himself was also accurate. I was half expecting them to trash Edison for Tesla leaving, but in fact, they treated that fairly in that Edison admitted that he didn't keep his word, and Edison also said that the way that he utilized inventors was a way to give them a career without having to defend patents. He was the one that went in there and actually allowed their ideas to be made into things that could sell, which is something an individual inventor at that time could not do so well. So Edison provided a vital service. So I think both men were treated with a great deal of respect in this story, and it was obviously well researched and reasonably well written. The scorpion aliens, okay, it's the usual Doctor Who kind of thing. The special effects were decent. The acting was pretty good, and all in all, I would give this a high mark. So almost makes up for the train wreck of last week's episode. And next week they're going to be talking about the story arc that they started. Everything that you ever knew was a lie. So we're looking forward to this episode coming up of Doctor Who as well. Of course, I'd always like to hear your comments. We heard from a lot of you, a lot of our British friends who have been away for a while have come back, and welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning back in to The Oldest Nerd. I hope that you'll stick with us, and if you have not subscribed already, please do. We'd love to have you added on to our list of fellow nerds. So until next time, don't go far.